Hello everyone. Today we will look at the characteristics of the lateral dimensions. This is video 3 of our teacher series. I hope the previous 2 videos enriched you. When we look at the Bible, God's holy word, we know that every word is true. With the lateral dimension, it is not that easy. These are guidelines only. Most of the student characteristics will be on one side of the lateral dimension, but you have to leave room for parental intervention. If you have a rigorous left brain mother, Jip like me, you may find a right brain student with many left brain characteristics. It is, therefore, better to do a thorough investigation and not just focus on the visible characteristics. According to research, I am left brain. Most left brainers remember the names of people, and right brainers remember faces. I battle with names, but I will never forget a face. Does that make me a right brainer now? No. That is only one discrepancy in my profile. Another hint: do not ask students to answer questions to determine lateral brain dominance. Students tend to lie because they actually do not know themselves and will provide you with the answer they think you want to hear. For instance, is your room neat and tidy? The answer would mostly be yes, but you get a totally different story when you speak to the parents. With the genetic profile evaluation, I do not focus on anything the child tells me. I focus on how the child sits, his way of coloring in, how he puts down the pencils, if he uses a ruler or not. What I am trying to say is, please do not go on what you hear them say. Focus on what they do without knowing that you are watching. You will be surprised how much information you will obtain through observation. For your observations to be successful, you need to know the characteristics. I divided the characteristics into subcategories. Let the learning begin. Friendships are significant. The left brain student usually has a few friends. They have 1 to 3 excellent friends whom they will trust with personal information. The right brainers are friends with everyone. They love to interact with others, and they hate to be alone. They always want to be part of a big group of friends. If you find a student you know is right brain dominant, but the child prefers only 1 or a few friends, you will have to look at the other dimensions. We have the lateral dimension, left versus right, the focus dimension, front versus back, and the central dimension, outside versus inside. The students who fall into the back part of the focus dimension are usually introverts with a cave mentality. In other words, they find it very difficult to explain their feelings. It is challenging to raise a cave mentality child because you can see the child is unhappy or upset, but the child will not explain why. They cannot explain their thoughts and feelings. If you have a frontal focus dimension child, you will notice impulsivity, even if the student is left brain dominant and not supposed to be that impulsive. We will look at the dimensions in detail in a later video. For today we need to focus on the characteristics of the lateral dimension, left brain versus right brain. To recap, a left brain usually only has a few friends, and a right brainer is friends with the whole neighborhood. If you hand your students the same picture to color in, you will notice that your left brain student will use realistic colors. Neatness is essential to them, and they would not want to go over the lines. They will take time and make sure they color in everything. Your right brain students will be the ones who will use many different colors, sometimes very unrealistic colors for that matter. It will not be detrimental to them if they go over the lines. They will start to rush towards the end and even leave some parts blank or white, for that matter. This brings us to the drawing of pictures. Left brainers do not love drawing as much as the right brainers do. The right brainers process a degree of artistry, and they love doing art. The left brainers do not mind art, but it is not their passion in life. The more they work on their creativity, the more artistic they also become, but they are taught to be artistic. It does not come naturally unless it is a talent received from God at birth. Now let us move on to what they wear. Left brainers choose clothes that fit together. They are always neat in appearance, and they usually have well-groomed hands. The right brainers will wear clothes, even if they do not fit. Be careful because the mom plays a crucial role here, especially in young children. Their mothers mostly dress them, and you will manage to determine the mother's brain dominance instead of the child's. The right brainers love playing outside, and they will sometimes have filthy hands. Let us focus on the progress reports. Left-brainers usually excel in maths unless they have an auditory hindrance. They also love science and have strong language skills. The right-brainers do not find maths easy. They are holistic students, meaning they can look at a math problem and immediately answer, but they have no clue about the steps involved. Unfortunately, they need to provide the steps in a test or exam. Right-brainers like the experimental part of science. They do not love languages, and if they can choose between doing tenses or writing an essay, they will rather choose the essay. Unfortunately, the essay will have many tense and spelling errors, although it will have great imaginative information. The left-brainer is very detail-oriented, and the right-brainer does not prefer detail. They need to see the big picture to understand information. That is why mind maps work well with the right-brainers. This brings us to stress management. The left-brainers stress more than the right-brainers. Their stress levels are usually high because of the demand they place on themselves. The stress levels of the right-brainers are usually low. There are only a few things in life that really bother a right-brain student. Creativity lies more on the right side of the brain. The right-brainers are much more creative than the left-brainers, which is a good thing. Our right-brainers are our entrepreneurs, and the more creative they can be, the more successful they will be one day. The right-brainer thinks in pictures, shapes, forms, patterns. That is why stories and sketches work well with the right-brainers. If they study human biology, for instance, they need to start with the sketches first. The left-brain student is the realistic, logical, analytical, critical student. These students need to obtain good creative thinking because it will help them a lot in future endeavors after school. They do not need pictures to study. They need to see the words. Mind maps can be very confusing for the left-brainer. I will teach you in a later video exactly how the left-brainer's mind maps should look. Let us look at music. To the left-brainer, music is not that important. We all love music, but if there is no music in the background, it will not bother the left-brainer that much. The right-brainer loves music. They need their music like I need my coffee. They can literally not live without music. Time management comes naturally to the left-brainer. They are future-orientated. They are usually not procrastinators unless the lateral dimension and the foot dominance is on the same side of the body. They can plan, and they usually start with a project as soon as they receive it, but oh boy, that is not the case with the right-brainers. They are here and now people. Future is not important. Here and now is important. Suppose you ask a right-brainer to wish for anything, they will mostly wish for something they need here and now. It rained for many days on end, and I evaluated this boy. I asked him if he could make one wish, any wish, what would he wish for? He wished for the rain to stop. They are not good with planning. They will get home after school and say they have no homework. They would not even think twice about the due week's project. They usually remember the project when the teacher asks them about it or remember the day before it is due, and then everyone in the house has to spark to help finish that project on time. They often forget to do homework, especially if they did not write it down. They need to be taught time management. They need routine in their lives. They hate it with a passion, but they need it. Now, let us look at storytelling. The left-brainer will tell a realistic, logical story with detail. The right-brainer will tell an unrealistic, creative story. Left-brainers are not all that much into board games. They prefer crossword puzzles and puzzles if they have to choose something. Right-brainers love board games. Try never to make the right-brainer the banker in Monopoly because they are very sneaky in games. The right-brainers are actually very good with puzzles because they can see the shape and the big picture much easier than the left-brainer, but they hate sitting still for too long. Building puzzles never last for too long. Now let us look at dancing. The right-brainer has a natural feel for dancing. They have a built-in rhythm. They will try to dance without even knowing what the correct steps are. The left-brainer needs to know exactly how before they want to try it in front of other people. They prefer lessons. Right-brainers can dance, even without lessons. Left-brainers are very good at solving problems. They work systematically through the problem and find the answers. The right-brainers are not set on solving problems. They are not set on problems. Period. Reading has a lot to do with the eye dominance. In the next video, we will look at the different characteristics of the left eye and the right eye and the left ear and the right ear. For now, let us focus on the broader characteristics of the lateral dimension. For the left brain, it is essential to read without mistakes. They will read, word for word, what is given to them, trying to make no mistake. The right-brainer wants to impress by the reading speed. The faster they can read, the happier they feel, even if they add their own words or version to the story. Now, in sport, the left-brainer is very focused on the technique. The right-brainer is naturally sporty. They love moving, therefore, they love the sport. A left-brainer prefers to have a specific place for everything in their rooms. Their rooms tend to be neater than that of the right-brainers. Sometimes a left-brainer's room will also be untidy, but they will have a good idea of finding what. It is actually crucial for the left-brainer to have a neat room because untidiness robs them of productivity. The right-brainer does not need to have a specific place for everything in their rooms. They can literally work well in chaos. Untidiness will not rob them of productivity. They usually need help to be productive in any case. I made 2 videos about the study space, one for the left-brainer and one for the right-brainer. You will find useful information in those 2 videos. I will add the links to the videos in the description of this video. Even school suitcases can tell you many stories. Left-brainers will have specific places for specific subjects. However, be careful because many mommies packed the school bags for the right-brainers because they tend to forget to pack certain things. With needlework, the left-brainer will usually work with a pattern, and they want to know exactly how everything works. The right-brainers will actually try to make their own patterns. They will invent new ideas and styles. If we look at daydream, the right-brainers usually sit and daydream about many unrealistic things. If a left-brainer daydreams, it is usually about something real, and it will not happen very often. This brings us to the end of video 3 of the teacher series. I tried to cover as many characteristics as possible in this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Happy teachings. Annie.